Welcome to the CSUS Gerontology Alumni Spotlight.
My name is Jenny Stevenson, and I graduated in, fall 2018. Actual commencement was where they conferred my degree was in 2019. And what I do now, I actually teach for the gerontology department that I graduated from. When I went back to school to do gerontology, it already had interested me in my previous career. I was a dental hygienist, and I learned a little bit about Gero in my career, in my curriculum when I was doing that program. So I was always curious about it. And once I started coming to school here, I really liked my internship, which was a teacher's assistant. And I decided that I wanted to teach. So I knew I needed to get a master's degree and also potentially maybe a doctorate in the long run. So my master's degree is actually in forensic psychology. I was going to do psychology, and the forensic piece really caught my eye because the forensic component actually has to do with problem solving and legalities. And I really liked that spin on it. So I had talked to the former chair of gerontology and narrowed down a couple of those degrees, and collectively we decided on forensic psychology would actually be a great fit. And initially you wouldn't think so with that degree title, but it really helped me to problem solve when it comes to older adults, and it helped me problem solve in my dentistry too. And then I went ahead and got my doctorate in health science because I knew I wanted to teach some more, and I wanted some education training on how to teach, and I love health anyway. So it just worked out that way. So that's what I end up having now, is a doctorate in health science. So the most satisfying thing about my job right now in gerontology is being able to share this information with the students. Usually I find that the students love this topic and they never realize how much they would love it. So all of my training really prepared me to present this information to them, and that is the biggest thing with the students, is that they love it. And I think that's the highlight of my job, is working with the students and having conversations with them and bouncing ideas off of one another in the classroom. I also really enjoy my colleagues, and they are full of resources. So as a gerontologist, which I am from the Bachelor's of Science in Gerontology, I get to connect people with resources and spread information that way. And the group of colleagues that I work with have so many resources. They work at county agencies, state agencies, and collectively, I think we all help one another give the students what they need, but also give each other information for our own lives and our own older adults that are in our families. I would say the most challenging thing about my job is making sure I'm presenting information to the students that intrigues them and gets them engaged. I hope I'm inspiring them, and I think that's the challenging piece, is am I giving them enough content that is current, is based on research that really helps them in their future careers and really helps them if they're going to become a gerontologist to serve the workforce. So I would say that's my biggest challenge, is creating curriculum that is updated, that actually can be applied in their careers. And we do some things in the classroom that will help them put their application skills to work by doing assessments. And I think that's my biggest hurdle, is making my content relevant. I would say my time in the gerontology program shaped my life in every way. As a hygienist, I was working as a hygienist the whole time I was in the program, and I did so for years afterwards. And it set me apart, I think, as a hygienist, because I had all of this knowledge, and most of the patients that I worked with were older adults. So that added to my education so much. I was able to connect my patients that I worked with to different types of resources and agencies. I was able to connect them with actual job skills, those who were over 75. I remember specifically a patient that was over the age of 75 and said, I'm looking for a new job. Do you have any ideas? Or I'm looking for a hobby. And I had all of these resources and ideas, and he ended up going through with one of those. That was just so great. In addition to that, I was able to really understand my Parkinson's patients and use the skills that I knew about caregivers. So when we had patients that came in with neurocognitive disorders or Alzheimer's disease or any type of health ailment, because we do talk about them all in this program, I was more equipped to help the caregiver, and I was more equipped to help the patient. Even though I was in an application type of profession, I still clinically knew how to create treatment plans better for my patients, knowing their health ailments, than if I didn't have this degree. The work that I did as a hygienist, and this is why I think gerontology fits so many facets of life. Oftentimes, my staff would refer older adults to me. Whether it was something my dentist, as my boss, was able to do, that oftentimes the patients would talk to me first about different types of treatment plans and ideas on outcomes for their treatments because of my knowledge. My boss actually was lucky, and he said it many times, my boss that's a dentist, that he was really grateful that I was getting this education, because I gave so many more resources to our dental staff as well, and was able to explain things to them so much better, especially when it came to my patients that had dementia type illnesses, and also patients that had Parkinson's or caregivers, and even APS. We used some of the tools that I had for adult protective services with some of our patients where we suspected abuse, and that's where my Gero background helped so much. And he didn't have to pay extra for it, right? It was just an added benefit, and it really set me apart, I think, from other hygienists that I work with, because I had this background. When I looked at graduate schools, this degree completely helped me stand out. It's not super common. However, the aging population is booming, and it's so needed. And I had 9 times out of 10, somebody would say to me that I was talking to for my master's program or even my doctorate program, "You have a Gero degree. You're automatically in." And this was almost in an informal setting, but it was, if your grades checked out and everything seems okay on that end, this will give you an edge into our program, because we have nobody like you in our program. And during those times in my program, they would ask me, "Oh, let's ask the gerontologists what they think. This is their specialty." And I was the only one in both programs, my master's and in my doctorate, the only one that had this. Advice that I would give students going into this field is be ready for a great field to go into. Every career that you're going to go into, you're going to work with older adults in some capacity. And with this background, you're not only going to learn about life skills as an adult yourself, but also for those that you love around you and any career that you go into. So I think gerontology is just the way to go. It's the degree of the future. And that's my advice that I would give to students, is to think about their career and how it focuses on all age groups, but especially if you have this knowledge with older adults, it's going to make things a lot easier when you are hopeful. This is just general life advice. And I've heard some of these things that I'm going to tell you in a minute from mentors that we work with here on campus at the Renaissance Society. So be hopeful when things go south. Try to find hope somewhere. And another thing a mentor told me is to have friends that are younger and older. It will make your life so much richer, because you have both facets in your life. You have older friends to give you advice and wisdom. You have younger friends that you can grow old with. And the other piece I would say is you can be successful at any age. So as a college student, it doesn't matter what age you are, success can come at any time. You can be 85 and be successful. You can be 20 and be successful. So just remember, success can come at any age.